Gojo, come. Good boy. Good boy. I got you. There you go, Mr. Dirty. This right here is a great tool if you do it right. And today we're going to talk all about e-collars. So first and foremost, let's break down the 4 quadrants of training. You have positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, you have positive punishment, and negative punishment. Most people assume punishment means something abusive or harmful to your dog. In the training world, that is not what it means. Don't let misinformation guide you on your training journey. So what punishment means in the training world is that you are just trying to decrease a behavior. What reinforcement means in the training world is trying to increase a behavior. That's all it means, right? So positive and negative attached to those means 2 different things. Positive means you add something, and negative means you remove something. So if I have positive punishment, I am adding something to decrease a behavior. E-collar, positive punishment. A negative punishment would be removing something in order to decrease a behavior. So let's say you're walking a dog and your dog is pulling. A negative punishment would be stopping your walk until the dog stops pulling, right? So you're removing the walk until your dog decreases the pull. Reinforcement increases a behavior, right? So a positive reinforcements would be like adding treats to increase the behavior. A negative reinforcements would be removing something to increase the behavior, like let's say you have a prong collar on, right? You're removing the pinch of the prong collar to increase. Hi, buddy. So this is my husky Gojo. Gojo, like all huskies, wants to explore, wants to hop fences or barrel through fences, wants to run. He wants to dig. He wants to not listen to anything because huskies are a very headstrong dog breed. They follow their own instincts, they follow their own habits, they follow their own motivations. And that's the thing is these type of dogs, Gojo, no, they follow their own motivations. This right here is a very useful tool, especially when you have a dog like a husky, for instance, or other dogs that have heavy willpowers to just do what they want, right? So there's multiple ways to use one of these, but you have to do it the correct way. And you also have to have the appropriate expectations, okay? So with one of these e-collars, does not necessarily mean shock collar. It's an e-collar, it's an electric collar, so it can vibrate, it can beep, and it can shock. You can set the settings to a lot different settings. For instance, the beep. I can set the beep to 20 different types of beeps. I'm not going to set it to the exact same beep that my microwave makes because I don't want them associating that with the microwave sound. I don't use the shock setting unless it's absolutely necessary. An example would be my dogs can jump the fence. I build a little fence just to create a boundary so that way I can set the baseline of where the boundary is and I don't want them running off. If they run off, they get hit by a car, they die. I'd rather zap them and set that boundary, let them know that's not good. Don't do that. It's uncomfortable, rather than them getting hit by a car. Come, Gojo. Good boy, dirty dog. Good boy. So my husky has great recall at this point. My husky doesn't run often. Yeah, sometimes he does jump, but I make sure this is on him at all times, and I am very advantageous about watching him. So to use one of these, I always associate a command followed by the beep sound, right? And then if that doesn't work, I do the command beep vibrate. That's all I'm going to be using while he's doing his regular dog thing. The only time I use this shock setting is if he is doing something extremely inappropriate or on the lines of unwanted behavior that could injure himself. That is a big no-no. So before you use the shock setting, make sure you set that setting to a certain setting, put it on a nice sensitive spot on your body, and shock yourself. I want you to feel how it feels so you know what the dog is feeling, right? Set it to an appropriate shock. It's going to feel similar to the little shocks of those pads when you're doing muscle therapy on yourself. It's going to be something similar to that. or even closer to one of those little gag gifts where you grab the pin, push the button, and it gives you a little zap. It's going to be like that. So that's the only time that I'm willing to shock my dog. Any other time it's going to be leave it followed by the beeps, leave it, beep, vibrate, right? And I can hold down that vibrate for as long as I want. I let my dogs dig. They can dig anywhere they want in this backyard because nobody comes back here. It's their space, right? I want them to be dogs. That's my expectations. My dogs are allowed to be dogs. They're allowed to enjoy their doggy life. But I don't want them digging right next to the fence line. That's a no-no. So beep and vibrate. Leave it. Or no. They understand yes and no's. So when you are using one of these devices, you have to make sure you do it right. When you put the collar on the dog, you need to make sure that there is some playroom in your fingers. Those prongs can dig in and it can injure your dog just with the prongs alone. So make sure it's the proper tightness. What you do not want to do is you do not want it choking the dog super tight, but you will know if it's too loose because if you try to use the shock setting on the dog for whatever reason and the dog does not respond, it's too loose. I don't recommend just doing it willy-nilly just to see. You don't want to do that. Uh, you want to make sure that it's appropriate for the behavior that you're trying to stop. And if you're not comfortable on how to appropriately use one of these devices, I suggest even for 15 minutes, hire a trainer to come over and have them teach you how to appropriately use these collars so that way you feel comfortable and confident using them yourself. So here is my key advice to using one of these. Be outside with your dog. Set the baseline, and you have to do it appropriately. No sitting on your phone while your dog's off doing whatever. You have to keep your eyes on your dog because dogs think in the now. You can't have the dog digging for 10 minutes and then all of a sudden you see and you're like, "Oh no, here's a vibrate." The dog's going to get confused. They're not going to know why you're telling them to stop. It has to be at that exact moment, right? It has to be at the exact moment that it happens. That also goes with rewards. If your dog, if I say leave it and Gojo leaves it, I'm going to immediately come in here, I'm going to grab that treat, and I'm going to reward my dog. Rewards, positive reinforcement goes a really, really long way. And you want the positive reinforcement to trump the positive punishment. So this is how I do it. I wash my dog. The moment that my dog goes to the fence, and looks like he's about to jump and gets up a little bit, I say leave it. If he looks like he's still continue doing what I don't want him to do, leave it beep. Leave it beep, vibrate. Sometimes if he gets real quick at it, it's an immediate vibrate. If he jumps, shock. The moment he jumps, shock, right? He doesn't run off because of that. He knows I can leave this gate completely wide open and he doesn't run unless I allow him to come through because I use positive reinforcement to let him know that the fence isn't a bad thing. You doing what you want at the fence is a bad thing, and I will tell you when it's okay to walk through, right? So being on it, being very hands-on and watching your dog is key to making this work and making it work successfully. The problem that you will have if you're not watching your dog and doing this right is that you can create some negative behavioral issues. You do not want some reactivity issues to deal with because you didn't know how to use one of these e-collars, right? So for recall training, recall is super important to me. I use one of these. I absolutely do, especially at nighttime when my dog's away in the back. I can't see a damn thing. Sometimes, yeah, I do just click the beat just to see where he is because I don't want to be looking around and him somehow got off the fence, right? I want to know where my dog's at. But if I say come and he doesn't come, I beep and vibrate, right? And I give him time to make that decision to come. Right when he starts coming to me, I stop the beep and vibrate. I start saying, good boy, give him all this praises. And right when he gets to me, he gets a treat, right? If he comes on his own, I might give him a couple of treats. I want his rewards to be high, right? Gojo, come. Good boy. Good boy. I got you. There you go, Mr. Dirty. So Gojo was just digging a massive hole over here that he's allowed to dig. But he immediately stopped to come to me with his recall because he knows. He knows that when he comes to me with recall, then it's good things. Sit. Lay down. Good boy. Good boy. That's a good boy. All right, so that's really the basis of how to use an e-collar. I want you to do it right. I don't want you failing at this. I want you to be successful in your endeavors as a dog handler. Let me show you an example right now. Leave it. Good boy. Good boy. I didn't even have to do anything. Good boy. All right. Here's the next example. Leave that fence open. Ah, ah. I didn't even shock him. I vibrated. That was a beep and vibrated, right? You don't have to always have commands. Sometimes it's just the noise. Ah, like I did. Now let me walk out here and see what he does. All right, come. Come. Good boy. Good boy. Come here. Good boy. That's a good pup. All right, come. Ah, go, Joe. Good boy. Good boy. No beep or vibrate needed. Right? That's the good stuff. See? His ears aren't folded back. His tail is not tucked. He is a happy dog. He doesn't care that he's wearing that shock collar because I am doing it appropriately. So, with that being said, I hope you have a good experience with training your dogs. I hope that your dogs are safe and you do really well with this. You succeed. All right. And if you like this comment, please subscribe and like. It is great for me to continue making content, and that is going to help push me to continue making content. And if you want to leave a comment, let's say you disagree with me, that's completely fine. I love open topics, open conversation, even debate, as long as we're friendly about it. And in this training world, we're always learning, we're always improving. So comment. Let me know what you think. All right. Have a good day.